What's up, all you cats and dogs? How are you? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in such a long time. Hello. Welcome to the Mammy Mushrooms channel. It's Debauchery Night. You know what that means? Absolutely, I'm going to go through the first half of the stream with a big smile on my face. I'm safe. Oh, am I safe tonight? Guess what? I'm seeking a feeling of exaltation. Seeking a feeling, and we'll just, of exaltation. I can't type tonight. Okay, there we go. I did it. Exaltation. Yeah. And I need to say a fiery emotion as well tonight. So I need to say a fiery emotion tonight. So get ready, because we have got a show for you. I asked Pappy to come and build while I talk. Oh man, I haven't answered questions. I haven't talked for a while, and it builds up in me, and I have to just out over the nation and the internet. So here it comes. But I promise you, it's going to be a great stream. Pappy's here tonight. Say hello, Pappy.
Hello, Pappy.
Hey, pretty soon we're going to be right uptown. We're going to each have a mic. How cool would that be, huh? Sorry. It's Debauchery Night, so you have to forgive me. This is not for children's. Mammy will be swearing. The odds are 100%. Okay. Hey, Pappy! Hi. All right, so I'm going to fly on down. You see that little house in the background? That little cabana? Way, way, way back there behind my shoulder? Behind my left shoulder? Right now behind my left shoulder? Pappy's going to build something like that tonight for us. It's going to be so cool. So let's fly on down there. Take a swirl by. See it before? Oh, yeah. Something like that. It's going to be a little bridge. And we need to be able to get the brother and sister team, Bastian and Bastiana, to have access over here to the greenhouse area. And this is all, by the way, going to be like planted fields. So it'll just be full and full and full of flowers and wheat and all sorts of things. So, without further ado, let's get this party started, man. Yeah. So, Paps, build your cabana. Just in case anybody's wondering, a cabana is a little house by the sea. And our cabana is going to be I got this. I have to give complete credit. I got this from looking in the world of ZZ Nerd. And she had this cute little playhouse in there, and I saw it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this solves the problem of having to cross the railroad line from their house, Bastion and Bastiana's house, over to the fields, to the flower fields, to the wheat fields, to everything that they need without using a railroad. And so one of the things that Pappy and I are trying to do is make our world accessible in survival mode again, because we're so used to just flying around in creative that we have completely forgotten that, you can't get up this vertical incline of more than 12 block without some form of stair or ladder. And you can't get around in here very well. So this is our goal for the rest of the winter and spring, is to make it accessible, because we're going to start doing things for the king probably by summer. I'm hoping by summer. Who knows? So let me tell you what happened to us today. Pappy and I started our day out as a normal day. Every day we get up and we have coffee and we just sit by, usually the fire, and we look outside over the estuary. We watch the morning birds, and we have pet crows that come and go, and we feed them peanuts and we say hi and all that. So we were just about ready to do that. And I had gone into one room that has such a small little room. I was going to do a quick chore before we sat down, and we were starting to make breakfast. And when we make breakfast, we sit down and we play a game of, we call it Ace Deuce Motherfucker. Just Ace Deuce MFer. And the reason why is because you just get the emotions go. It's a very strategic, it's a very killer game. And it goes back and forth, and it's very wild. And Pappy and I have made up our own rules to this. So if you've played backgammon, then you know what backgammon's like. If you've played Ace Deuce backgammon, then you know what Ace Deuce backgammon's like. Well, I guarantee you that you haven't played Ace Deuce Motherfucker, because it is vicious and we love it. And we play to 1,000, and the person who hits 1,000 first doesn't have to make the next 3 popsicles. Or do they have to clean out the kitty litter box? We make popsicles and eat popsicles, fruitsicles, yogurtsicles at night instead of ice cream. We used to eat big old bowls of ice cream and cereal, but as you get older, you just can't do that anymore. You have to start thinking about things like cholesterol and blood pressure, and so we've had to change our habits. And so now instead of chips, we eat popcorn, and instead of ice cream, we eat popsicles. Anyways, that's a whole different subject. So where was I? Oh, the chore. Okay, so I was just about to do the chore before breakfast from the previous day's loss to Pappy, because he's been rolling like it's like he's magic. Like, I can't beat him. He can roll so good. This whole last game, he hit 1,000 points. I think I barely made 100. And I taught him Ace Deuce. And I've been playing it for years. And so I have strategies that, he probably knows them all now, but his rolls are so good that he's just been kicking my ass. So anyways, I was about ready to do my loser chore, and I hear for like 8 seconds. Definitely the sound of metal. We live right by the highway. I gotta tell you that. It's not a highway that you'd think like you get up on the highway and you go. It's coastal highway. So 45 miles an hour, 55 maybe. In some places. Through our section it's only like 25, but people never do that. Well, right before that, I hear this skid of 8 seconds long of metal on pavement, and it's long. And I look out the window and I see a big tractor trailer going by, and I'm thinking, oh, this rig must have just lost something, like, I don't know, big metal bars or something, and they're dragging on the concrete of the highway now. And I look out and I watch, and there's a fence there, so you can't see until it goes by. And I look out and I see it go by, and no, it's not dragging anything. And so I find that odd. So I look left, and I see in our driveway, pretty much it's a brand new truck, right? It was a brand new truck.
Pretty new, yeah.
Brand new, what was it?
Dodge Ram.
Dodge Ram. Uh, and its tire is flat on the ground, and I don't mean flat on the ground. I mean it's not in its appropriate position anymore. It's bent all the way down, and which is now laying flat on the ground, but still attached to the truck. This truck has had the shit beat out of it real quick, real fast, real hard, and it just went on for an 8-second skid and ended up in our driveway. So I called Pappy. I'm like, Pappy, turn the popcorn maker. We were making popcorn for our chickens. I'm like, Pappy, turn the popcorn maker off and come in here. And he didn't quite hear me, and I look out the window again, and all of a sudden I see a cop. Now I'm looking right. The truck is to the left. And I'm looking right, which is past the fence, and I see a cop, and he's running across the south part of my driveway with his gun drawn. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, something's going on. My first thought is that an animal has been hit, and that he's probably going to, it could be upset. My first thought was really that it was an elk. And if they get hit, you got to defend yourself, because they don't necessarily go down, but they're sure damn angry. And it could have been a coyote, or it could have been, I've seen bear here. It could have been a lot of things. My thought was a deer or an elk, and he was going to, follow it and put it down. And I really thought that that's what it was. So I look left again at the truck, and I see a woman walking, which would be, away from me. I see her from the back. And in her left hand, she has about a 3-foot long piece of round wood, like a club, but really, it's something that you might keep in your car in case of emergencies. And she's now kind of moving real fast and running away. So I now think, oh my God, she's mad at the person who just hit this poor animal, and she's now looking for the animal too. This is really my thought at that moment. I did not think anything more than that. Once again, I call Pappy, and I'm like, Pappy, get in here. And I look, left and right again, and I still see the cop crossing my driveway with his gun drawn, and now he's going towards the backside of my house, which is on the water side. And I'm thinking, oh, of course the animal ran to the water. That makes sense. It usually happens that way. Hold on. I went to Tudorville before I came here, and so I will have to clear my throat and drink a lot tonight, just so you know. It is Debauchery Night. Anyways, to continue with my story, I come running out and tell Pappy, there's been an accident. Something's happened, I think, an animal. And I go running back, and I hear now our front alarm going off multiple times, which usually means, there's either a person or a car. And I already know this because I saw the cop, who is pulled off the highway and kind of into our south of our parking lot, and with his gun drawn out of his car, running across our parking lot to the back side of our house, which is on the water side. And like I said, I really think there's an animal. So I then come forward into the forward part of our house to try to tell Pappy, go look. And as I do so, he goes in to go take a look. And I hear our back gate opening. And now I'm thinking, that cop is going into our backyard to look for that animal. Well, it's not unheard of for elk to jump a 6-foot fence. And if it was scared or injured, it could easily probably do that. And so that was my thought again, is that the cop is going into our backyard, is coming through our gate. It's a locked gate. I mean, it's not locked at the time. It was but you have to know what you're doing to get into it. Let's put it that way. And I'm thinking, wow, that's kind of abrasive that he didn't like knock on the door and say, "Hey, I've got to go into your backyard." And at that point, I'm looking out the window expecting to see a cop in a uniform, and I see a dude in a flannel shirt and sweatpants, hiding behind the door of my backyard. He's feet away from me. He doesn't see me. And at that point, he turns and he begins to walk to our back gate, which means he's just feet away from my back door, which is unlocked. And I'm hollering for Pappy. And he says, "There's been an accident. There's been an accident." I'm like, "I know. There's somebody in our backyard." And he's coming around. And at that point, the cop comes through the gate following the guy. And he's got his gun out. And he points it at the gun. Now he's 2 feet away from me. I'm right there at the window. I see everything that's going on. And I can't move. I can't do anything. I'm just so stunned because I really thought this had to do with an animal that I'm kind of processing what's going on, and I'm slow about it. It's morning. I barely had coffee. And I can't be having criminals. We haven't had coffee. That's so true. And so this is just our life. We're very blessed that we live in a relatively safe place that you wouldn't think that. And I see the cop come, and he's got his gun on the guy. He's pointing it at the guy. The guy's got his hands reaching towards the gate to come literally into where my house is unlocked. And the cop comes through the gate. It's like a movie. And the split second before the guy's coming through the gate, and he's got his gun on him. He's like 3 feet away from the gun now, and he's like, hollering, "Get down, it's over, dude. You better stop. You gotta stop now." Fortunately, the guy just gives up immediately. He just stops, turns around, puts his hands in the air, and gets down on the ground. And before you know it, there's a second cop in there. Up front is chaos. I'm telling you, chaos is going on. The front bell's going ding, 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 ding. That means somebody's walked in front of the camera. A car's driven in front of the camera. And there's all kinds of alerts going on, meaning there's activity up front still. There's 2 cops in my backyard. Pappy's now out there standing 4 feet away watching it go down at that gate, making sure that dude, is not going to come through that gate. And the cops handcuff him, search him. He tells the cop that he's uncomfortable, that he's in pain. Cop asks him where. He says he's cuffed too tight, and the cop says, "Okay, well, let's turn you over and get you stood up, and then we'll go ahead and release those a little bit so they're not so painful." I was stunned, and I was so proud of that cop, because if it had been me, I'd have been so mad at what that dude just did that I would have wanted to just at least slap him for being so stupid. So this is what happened. We didn't know what happened. We're just like, so there's no animal? There's no hit animal? I kind of figured he hit an animal and he didn't have a driver's license, and so he's trying to run from the cops. And they're like, "Oh no, this was a vehicle pursuit, about probably a 20-mile vehicle pursuit from a stolen car from the car lot north of us, from a rental. The dude stole the brand new vehicle, hit multiple cars on his way down, destroyed multiple cars. I mean, he hit one car that had like 5 kids in it and just totaled their car. And so by the time he got that 20 miles of destruction, his tire was so bad that it finally gave out right in front of our house, right when I was getting ready to do my loser chore from Ace Deuce Motherfucker. So that's what happened this morning. And, it was an eye-opener for sure. first the guy hid in our, we went and looked at the camera afterwards, because it was ding, ding, ding. And I saw a woman. I saw a woman with a wood baton in her hand, and she was angry. But she wasn't on our camera, which is really weird. And so I don't know what happened there. But I definitely saw her, and I saw that she had in her left hand it looked like juniper wood to me, and Pappy said, well, I have that in the back of the truck. And I'm like, well, I think she grabbed it out of the back of the truck and was going after the guy. And my only thought was, there was a string of hit cars up the highway, just, totaled cars that he just rammed on his way down. It was so bad that they stopped pursuit because the weather and visibility wasn't very good, really bad raining. And there was too much traffic, and they were worried about what's going to happen. And even though they stopped pursuit, he still just banged the shit out of everybody coming down, bumper card his whole way down 20 miles. And, butterfly effect. Ended up in our front and backyard. And it was quite the eye-opener. So we played ace deuce, and Pappy almost won again, like he has been the last 1,000 points. But the cribbage gods, or the backgammon gods, have...
Yeah. You just wait till tomorrow now. You've misnamed them.
I misnamed them, he says. They're going to punish me. It's probably true. So anyways, I streamed last night in hardcore, and I said that I was going to talk a little bit about podium shit. And I'm going to do it, but it shouldn't be too bad, and we'll get through it quickly. So bear with me, because I really have something to say that I want you to hear. And it's, in the words of George Carlin, fighting a war for peace is like fucking to achieve virginity. Process that. If you hadn't realized it, I'm against the war. I'm against all war. The reason why is I have a little poem to read to you. A country run by banks will never be out of debt. A healthcare system that is run by the pharmaceutical companies will never have a cure. A state run by war will never know peace. A nation run by media will never know the truth. A country, a healthcare system, a state, and a nation that puts its people first is called Sweden or Norway. I don't know. It's one of those countries that actually put their people first, and their people are happy, and they have health care, and they can afford things like child care and education. And you know what I noticed about those countries? They don't go to war. So, I had to say that. I wanted to say that last night in hardcore. But I bit my tongue because I knew I might say some words, some bad words. And I did. But it's no big deal. But you should beware, people. And I'll tell you why. I'll say this one thing, and then I'm going to read you something to open your eyes, because I'm going to ask something of my viewers. I'm going to ask something of my clip viewers tonight. I do live in the United States, and I'm not a supporter of Donald Trump. I did not vote for him, and I think that he's wacky. I think there's something wrong with him, and I think people are afraid to say or do anything. And so I think it's up to us. So beware, because Trump needs the chaos that he's creating in this world. He needs it to invoke some sort of special powers that will allow him to cancel the midterm elections. You must understand that this is all a distraction. You have to ask yourself, what is it that they don't want you to see or know? What is it that they're trying to hide? And why? I need you to do one thing for me. And I want you to do something that you've probably done multiple times when you rate something, when you give a review, when you take the time to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 stars on your media. But you have to do it in the old-fashioned way. You have to pull out your old pen and paper and sit down and complain, people. You have to complain like you have never complained before. I want you to complain and pretend, even if you need to, that some asshole has wronged you, that some idiot is forcing you to lose money, like bleeding it from you, so much so that you can't afford to even live a normal standard living, that homeless people are happening at an increased rate every day. Here's a little statistic for you. In the height of the Depression in the 1920s, think of this. This is called the Great Depression. 30% of people had trouble paying their mortgage or their rent. 30% of people. This is at the height of the Great Depression in the 1920s. The worst financial status of our modern time. Today it's 39%. 39% of people are having trouble paying their mortgage or their rent. I don't know what that tells you, but that definitely tells me something. So I want you to get out your pen and your paper, and I want you to write to your senators and your congressmen, both Democratic and Republican, and I want you to complain like you've never complained before. I'll tell you why. And if you pretend all these things are happening to you while you're complaining, while you're writing your review, you'll be surprised that you're probably right. Every single thing is happening to you. Let me tell you, I'm going to read you something. Everything that I'm about to say are all factual claims that are supported by reporting and legal analysis from the Brennan Center for Justice, the Cato Institute, and the Congressional Research Service. Okay? There's been an ongoing reporting about efforts by political allies and activists to expand presidential emergency powers in ways that could affect U.S. elections. Several independent outlets have documented the circulation of draft executive orders among political operatives. These drafts propose declaring a national emergency based on allegations of foreign interference and then using that emergency to justify sweeping federal control over the election processes. According to these reports, the proposed powers include restricting mail-in ballots, imposing new federal rules on voting systems, taking over ballot boxes, asserting authority over how the states administer their elections, and imposing specific rules on voting systems. Analysts emphasize that these ideas are legally unsound because the Constitution assigns election administration to the states, not the executive branch. Now, first of all, I have to say something about that. Since when has anything legal or illegal mattered to this administration? And since when is anyone who has the power to do anything about it doing anything about it? Analysis also note that the fact something is legally unsound has not always prevented attempts to push the boundaries of presidential power in this administration. Historical examples of this administration show that at times the president has tested or exceeded constitutional limits, especially during crises. Other presidents have done this too, but not at this degree. I gotta take a drink. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Are you still here? Are you still following? It's almost over, I promise. Commentators describe these draft plans as part of a broader pattern in which fringe legal theories and pseudo-legal documents are used to justify actions that would normally fall outside constitutional limits. The concern isn't about any single statement from a political figure, but about the ecosystem of activists, lawyers, and operatives who promote these ideas and attempt to normalize them. See, Trump has a bazillion buttload of attorneys paid by his followers who loyally put $5 to $15 in every month to help support his cause. And he doesn't care if they work day and night to find loopholes for him to use these old, archaic rules that are not meant to be used the way that he's using them. Anyways, the key takeaway is that these proposals exist in the political environment right now, today. You got to note that. They've been reported by multiple independent outlets, and they raise serious questions about the use of emergency powers in democratic system. Without relying on or repeating anything of law. So they're not relying on the normal democracy. And so I asked, okay, well, who has the power to stop that then? And here's what I found out. There's only 4 ways to stop a crazy, batshit, nut, mega, whatever he is. One is the courts. Well, he pretty much put everybody in there to do what he wants, and if he doesn't, then he shames them. So that's kind of a tough one right there. That's probably not going to happen. However, in the past, the federal courts can block or overturn emergency actions that violate the Constitution or exceed statutory authority. Courts have historically intervened when presidents attempted to stretch emergency powers beyond legal limits. And they are doing that now in as slow as shit. I mean, drag it through the mud. And think of how much money this is costing taxpayers. All these states suing the federal government over this and that. It's the chaos that he wants. The second is Congress. Well, Congress is at the moment under the control of the Republicans, and the Republicans don't seem to want to stop this and protect American people, so I don't really have any faith in Congress. And this is what scares me, because if he stops the midterm elections and they lose power, he doesn't want that, because he'll probably get impeached and go to jail. So he's got Congress under his belt, okay, so that we can't stop him that way. State governments. States control election administration under the Constitution. Well, as long as there's not an emergency in which he gets power because of foreign... He created this war so that he could create something else. I hope you all know that. Even under a declared national emergency, the president does not gain authority to take over state-run elections. States can refuse unlawful directives and challenge them in court. Well, let's see. When he went and stole all those ballots, I'd sure like to see those poor working people refuse with guns at their head, since we've had a lot of accidental deaths lately and suicides. Here's the fourth one: career, civil servants, and institutional processes. Emergency powers often require the cooperation from agencies, inspectors generals, and career officials who are legally obligated to follow the Constitution and statutory limits. Well, right now all those are being controlled by all these they have absolutely no qualifications. So they're all being run by unqualified people who owe their position and power to him, and they're in these institutions that number 4 fall under. It's impossible to be a democratic check and balance, and this is what was warned about if he was elected. So it's time for us, the people, to be number 5. And number 5 is picking up your pen and your paper and writing a review and sending that review to your senators and congressmen. And do it right away. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to take any other kind of action than what you normally do every day, which is rate somebody. Write a review and send it off. Okay? Does that sound good? Does that sound good, Pappy?
That sounds good, Mammy.
Does that sound easy enough?
I'm gonna do it.
Are you? Are you going to write a review
I am.
and send it off?
And I agree with what you're saying.
What's that?
I absolutely agree with your take on Trump.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. I'm not a supporter of Donald Trump. I didn't vote for him. He's a fucking asshole.
Wow! Woohoo! Debauchery night! I get excited when I hear Pappy swear. All right. Well, that was good. Thank you so much for sitting with me while I get on my podium. And especially to Pappy, because I can't do this if he doesn't build for me why I... So, remember George Carlin? You know, fighting a war for peace is like fucking to achieve virginity. It's not going to happen. And all those 4 things that are in place to stop a wacko president are not happening. So there has to be a number 5, which is the people. So please, 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 write a review. Write a review. You do it all the time. And it's more powerful if you do it in pen and paper. But if you can't, then do it in an email. Do it with your phone, your computer. It's so important. It's so important. If you haven't already noticed all the crazy, more expensive stuff that's happening worldwide and all the people that are dying, then I don't know what could be more important than that. So, thank you for listening to me on that. All right. Well, now we get to the fun stuff. We get to the raunchy stuff, which is question and answer. I have not done any question and answer since I think like last summer. And I do have... I thought I had them sitting right here. So give me a second. I'm looking for my... stuffed them in my little book. And I'll answer a couple of those. I know that one of them has to do with, again, with the fiance and the fiance's best friend getting married. And I'll just tell you that everyone is fine. Everyone is happy. And there is a little baby boy now that is half brother to another baby, another toddler. And everyone's doing great, including the original fiance. So they're all back to friends now, and they all think that that's the way it was supposed to be. and that they should have met that way. And I am happy for them. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, she wrote to me asking what to do because she was gaslighting the fiance as she was the best friends she was the best friend of the female fiance, and she was gaslighting the male fiance, and he was like, having internet sex with her and everything, and she didn't know how to tell her best friend, and she did, but ended up falling in love with the male boy, the male fiance, and now they're married and they have a baby, but everybody's all friends. So that's the tall and short of that, if you were wondering. All right, I'm meandering through my questions here. But the question was, do I have a name? And I don't. I don't give names out, and you shouldn't either. You should protect yourself and not give any personal information out. And know that if you ever ask me for any information or any advice, I would never share your personal information unless you specifically requested it, because one person wanted a survey done, and I was just like, no, I don't think I can do a survey. I can barely run my channel by myself, let alone do some kind of survey with OBS. So, okay. Still looking. I did this a very long time ago, and I just came across it. And because it's Debauchery Night, because I'm feeling good, and I got all that Trump shit off my chest, I want to tell you quick, 10 things your mama should have taught you. Okay? Because I kind of noticed there's just a wee bit of lacking. I like that, Pappy. You don't like it?
No, too high.
Pappy thinks it's too high.
Doesn't make any sense.
Right. It's got to be a little bit lower, you're right. It has to be that draw between that dip. He's taking her down. And this is what you should do. If you don't like something when you're building, take it down, especially in creative mode. Creative mode is free. I mean, it's free material. Okay, when you visit somebody, number 1. When you visit somebody, relatives, in-laws, friends, your college buddy, and you sleep in a bed, make the bed in the morning when you leave. Even if you know they're going to go in there and strip that bed down and throw that shit right in the laundry, still make the bed. It just says something about you. Clean the bathroom. Don't leave dirty underwear laying on the floor, or an unflushed toilet, or an unclean toilet. If you dirty the toilet, be considerate. Don't make your host clean up your skids. Always ask permission. Always ask permission. And I'll tell you why. If you're in someone's home, to go into their fridge, you must ask. Our kids used to come over, and they used to come over with their boyfriends, and their boyfriends would just open our fridge and take out beer, or a ham sandwich or whatever, and it used to just drive me crazy. And I'm the kind of person that I say something, I don't just I'm like, you need to ask. You need to let your boyfriends know before they come over that, and you need to ask when you come into my home, now that you don't live here anymore, if you can get in my fridge. So, until someone gives you an open door policy of opening their fridge, always ask. Number 4. What are you laughing at, Pappy? He's taking it all down now. He's starting over. That's okay, though. That's That is what makes a good builder. I can't tell you how many times.
Experience comes.
It's right. It's where experience comes from. I can't tell you how many times I've taken things down and then put them back the same and then taken them down again. Number 4, say please and thank you. That's a given. Number 5, smile. If your mama didn't teach you to smile, let me teach you to smile. Can you hear me right now? I'm smiling. Can you tell? Can you tell that when I'm talking to you, I'm smiling and I'm happy? You'd be surprised how you can make clay out of someone else's face by a smile. Be presentable. Please don't wear your shorts down to your knees. I hate seeing teenage sweaty butt crack on boys and crumpled up underwear. It's just gross. Number 7, be respectful and respectable. That is entirely different than be presentable and smile. I want you to note that. You represent your family, your parents, your brothers, your sisters. You represent a name. You represent a brand, not just you. So protect your family name too. If you emulate respectfulness and you're polite, it is absolutely not okay to be rude. I know that that's kind of the thing now, to be rude, but it's just not. It's not okay to be rude. Play the silly little petty how's the weather game and learn to be polite with one another until you can actually be genuine. And then when you can be genuine, then maybe you can work on issues, but you don't need to be rude. Okay? It kills me that these people in power like Hegseth, is that how you pronounce his name? Who has absolutely no experience, is an absolute asshole when he talks about other people, and he always has to do this insult and shame, and it really grinds on me how sophomoric this man is. So if you, I guess the reason why I want to say why it's important to me to say that in a mama should have taught you form is what you put out. How can I explain it? What you put out in this world is a force, okay? It's a force. So when you smile, when I talk to you and I'm smiling, you can tell I'm smiling. You can feel that energy even though you can't see me. And when I talk to you with a frown and I'm angry, you can tell that too. You can tell that I'm just, I'm so mad. That's an energy, and that's a force that you emulate out. And if you're not careful, you'll get out of balance of the forces around you. And so that's why I say smile, because it's just as much for your benefit. Stand in front of the mirror and just smile at yourself. Pretty soon you'll be giggling because it looks so silly. And then before you know it, you'll be happy. I mean, you might be happy only for a minute, but you'll be happy. And these are skills and practices that you can do to not, not be angry or rude. Get yourself out of that compartment, and then maybe the world will begin to get out of that compartment. It's important to keep your yin and yang balanced. Number 8, be helpful. Laziness is weakness, people. I'm just telling you, a good work ethic will take you a long way. And that happens to be number 9. Have a good work ethic. No matter what you do it to your best. If you have to clean a toilet because you left skitties on it and you're trying to be polite to your hostess, do your best at cleaning the toilet. Don't do a half-assed job. No pun intended. Actually, I intended every bit of that pun. Number 10, Be gentle with things that are weaker than you. This is the most important one. It should be number one. Never hit, never punch, never smack, never slap. And don't even go like outside and take that shit out in nature by like hitting trees or killing animals. Learn to channel your energy so that anger isn't your most emotion. That's 10 things your mama should have taught you. I found my questions, but I think I have answered all of these. Yep. What are you laughing at, Pappy?
Oh, me.
He's laughing at
Trying to do
himself.
this. I have not. I can't even get the first row up.
Of the hip roof?
Oh man, it's like I've never done it.
He says it's like he's never done it before. There you go. You got it now. He's got it. He's just been on vacation and not building for a while. What he and I both like to do is just kind of dig lately in my hardcore game because it's just so fun. I mean, it is fun digging in hardcore because it's scary. You could fall through at any time and die, and you don't want that. You know. Plus, then you get things like we both like to prospect, so you get things like gold and iron and copper and coal, and it's fun. All right. I had to turn my book around. I just can't find them. One of the question was, why do I put everything in Brazilian Portuguese? And am I from there? And I'm not. It's just an effort to learn another language and an effort to share another language with people in not such a in-your-face way. But really, it's just to help me. Like, I know a lot of words now in Brazilian Portuguese, and before I barely knew any before I started Minecraft. And when Pappy and I started, we were like, what's a really cool... And, everybody picks French, and we were like, no... Not as the French people. They are just no. They poke their nose at us. No, we don't like French, the stinky people. We don't want French. And we were like, well, what...
People are fine.
We were like, well, what about Spanish? And we're like, well, Spanish is good, but, a lot of people speak Spanish. And we're like, well, what about something that is close to that, like Portuguese or Brazilian Portuguese? Oh my God, yes, Brazilian Portuguese. How do you say such and such in Brazilian Portuguese? And we're just like, that's it. We're going to do it. So 5B was invented. Cinco biospheric. And it began. And ever since then, we've had every name in English and Brazilian Portuguese. Just because I think, I grew up in America, and America, they only teach you America. In Europe, you gotta learn like 3 languages by the time you're like out of elementary school, and not in America. So, I wanted... What? You have to have 2 full blocks on top of fire smoke in order to eliminate fire smoke. Pappy wanted to know why that's still smoking. Well, okay. I can't find my questions. And I have like 3 or 4 more, but I just can't find them. So, I guess I'll either pass it back over to Paps or say sayonara for the night. Or I could jabber on. I wish somebody was in here. I could chat. Let me see. What is it? Oh yeah, that's cool, but you have to walk around. Right. Sometimes debauchery night is called repetitive night because this is like the fourth time I've seen him put the fire in the middle of the cabana. And every time, it's a cabana bridge. It's a little a cabana bridge. That doesn't look like it swoops with those. You got to put them lower. You see what I'm saying? Under it. Yeah. There you go. And then the steps on the outside with the rail. Yeah, a stair. Put a stair. You need a throw block and then a stair. Or you could put the stairs sideways on the slab. Now you're just seeing Pappy and I play as we play.
Yeah.
But really, I'm not that kind of serious person in which I always just preach politics. I don't even like politics. I just need it to stop. And I think a lot of people need it to stop. Over one more. But lower. Yeah, so you need a throw back or throw against the slab. Right there. But not too far, it'll be square. Oh. Oh, you're going to have a throw block. Yeah. There you go. That'll work as a throw block. And then, yeah. Oh, then put that up then one and see how that looks. There you go, right there. Yeah, and then the chain across that. No, it'll be above it. It will. It'll be above it. There you go, see? He said look at the gap. I don't see any gap. Oh, sure. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think you can fall through there. Walk on it. See if you can fall through there. You can get in there and just not be floating and try and fall through that. See?
Well,
You can't. Good test. See, this is what we have to do is we have to be able to walk in survival mode and do a lot of the things for the king. And one of the things we're finding is that we can't run around here unless we use rockets and shoot around. And so we need a little bit more access to that. To being able to get around. And so this is going to be really cool to be able to get from one side to the other literally in survival mode. So if you didn't hear my stream last night, I talked about Jim Bridger. And if anybody's interested in Jim Bridger, then please watch my 20-minute Sleeping with the Fishes achievement in which I discuss all the things that Jim Bridger did for America, the USA, the country that we turned into a democracy. Which we got to fight for now and use our pens and papers and write reviews. And it wouldn't be hard, if you have like the blue E, which I think is Explorer. Google, I think, even has one. Explorer has the little what's that called? Bing, the AI Bing. Just sit down and say, I need to write a review. I want to send it to my senators and congressmen, my representatives of my state, both both Republican and Democratic, and that little AI will just tell you exactly where to send it, and even help you draft a little letter of dissatisfaction with things that are going on, and that a change is demanded. So, someone very close to me used to work in politics very deeply. And one of the things that this person told me was the way that things are counted in the political venue. If someone sends an email, it's like it has a 1. If someone sends a phone call, it's got like if someone makes a phone call, it's got like a 5. If someone sits down and writes a physical letter, pen to paper, signs their name and address to it, that paper has to go into the department and be time stamped, because it's a physical object, and then it has to be filed and classified. And so there's absolutely no way for it to get rejected, unheard, unread, because it has to be time stamped when it comes into the mailroom. It's like they don't open, they have secretaries that open all the mail and then it gets distributed to the proper places. They have assistants. And if it's time stamped, it means it's registered. This is what this person told me, who's very close to me. I trust them very much. And they said, so when you write a letter to your congressman or your senator or any representative, it counts as like 25 to 50. It depends on your age. If you're in the working, part of the population, then it's a higher rated. If you're retired, it's a little bit less. If you're young, it's a little bit less than the others. So it doesn't matter anymore if you say your age, because you're not required to do that. You just have to sign the document with your signature, and print it and sign it. Give them a review. Tell them what you want done, and even just make it exactly like you would when you're leaving reviews for other things. And put it in an envelope with the proper address and send it out. And they count that like I said, between 25 and 50. And it can't be possibly misplaced or accidentally deleted so that your complaint can't be heard. And the reason for that is because it has to be time stamped by like the mailroom or the secretary who's opening it. And usually it's multiple time stamps. So please do that for Mammy. Please do that for Mammy Mushrooms. I'm begging. Please do that for Mammy Mushrooms. It's up to the people. We're number 5. It's up to the people to stop it. So, all right. Well, Pappy, could you land and switch the camera for a second? Oh, look at their house. What a cool house they have. Oh, that looks good. It looks good though. I like it. The pillars match too close to the foundation structure though. You see what I mean? They do not stand out the way that the one in the back, like the one in the back that you have on that little island, stands out so much more than that to me. And it's so far away compared to the other one. Very cool. All right. Well, hey, I'm going to say goodbye. You let me talk to you while I was high. I got to stand on my podium and scream or chat or laugh and do my thing. And I feel much better now because you let me sing. I appreciate you listening, and I really hope you write letters. It's easy to do. Don't let it be fetters. I'll see you on Tuesday when I do a collab with ZZZ Nerd. And Pappy's going to finish this up, and we'll see what he heard. I'll talk to you later. Have a good weekend. Be safe and be kind to animals. Hugs to y'all. Pappy, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye, folks. Thanks for stopping by.
Say goodbye.
I'm sorry that it didn't come out very good.
It came
That's
out great.
the way it works.
It came out fine. Night.